Welcome. It is the Ski Bum Podcast, and it is your pals, Mario and Brian. Mario, what's up?
Just hanging in there. Seems like I'm just getting by today.
So far, March in the Northeast has been looking better than most of January and February. And the main topic is about my family's trip to Greek Peak in Cortland, New York.
Nice.
I will get into details as to how and why we ended up there at the main topic in our discussion. So hopefully you'll want to stick around and check it out. Thank you so much for listening. Check us out, skibumpodcast.com. We are on your favorite socials, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Untapped, at Ski Bum Podcast. We are on Patreon. Did you know that?
Patreon.
We are getting patrons, which is so cool. So thank you so much to our patrons. You can go there, patreon.com/Ski Bum Podcast. We're on YouTube. We're on your favorite podcasting apps. Please go there, rate and subscribe. Send us an email, skibumpodcast@gmail.com. Big shout out and thank you to our sponsor, Terracia. We talk with them all the time. We love them. Their stuff is great. They're all about the premium cold weather solutions. Their mission is to create best-in-class apparel that can be worn in any cold temperature environment, designed with thoughtful features and fit, and always providing the optimum level of performance for whatever you are doing. They fully believe in the idea that good products can always be made better and strive to constantly improve, refine, and optimize all facets of their products. Go to their website, terracea.com, TERRACEA.com. Use the code TerraceaBum, TERRACEABUM, for 15% off. Thank you so much, Terracea. We greatly appreciate it. Mario, let's kick this off the way we always do.
It's time for Après Today.
Today I took a blast from the past. Decided I saw something in the fridge. I'm like, let me go for that today. Did have some cool drinks over the weekend, but we were going to podcast, and then that got kind of messed up. It was just kind of a crazy weekend. So
you almost got good pizza too.
There was a lot of almost, but
well, you were in the almost state. Let's be honest, folks. Connecticut. If you're one of our friends in Connecticut, let's be honest, man. It's the almost state. Like, you're almost New York City. You're almost in Vermont. Like, you're almost a lot of things.
Just kind of almost.
Just kind of there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I actually had, have you ever had Juice Box Hero?
Juice Box Hero? I don't think so.
It's an IPA from, where is it? Central Coast? Fairfield Craft Ales. And it was really good. I actually bought a 4-pack. I drank 2 of them. And then plans changed. Didn't do the podcast. Had to head to the airport. Drank one in the car. That was it. It was really good. I wish I could have had that on as my après, but it just did not happen.
So what is it? Juice Box Hero?
Juice Box Hero by Fairfield Craft Ales.
Huh.
It was really good. I gotta say, I had a sip of sunshine, and then I had that after, and it definitely wasn't as hoppy. It was more alcohol, less hoppy, tasted lighter than the sip of sunshine, and it was delicious. I was very surprised. Okay. So that was my après that I was gonna have when we were gonna podcast. But my après today is Mike's Hard Mango. That's what I got.
Whoa, that is a pretty drastic left turn.
It's a big turn. So yeah, big drastic turn, but that's what I'm doing. You know, it's light. It's a Monday, so I figured why not just do something so I could wake up for work tomorrow. But yeah,
what's happening to us? What's happening to us? We used to be so cool. But
that is what après is. You know, après is like what hits the spot for you. You know, sometimes 100%. It's a bourbon. Sometimes you had a rough day. It's a little gin and juice. Sometimes it's Juice Box Hero, or sometimes just a nice Mike's Hard.
That works for you. You know, it's funny. Like when I was skiing a few weeks ago with our buddy Rich from All About Après. We were up at Jack Frost, and we got there right when the place opened. We hit it hard for a few hours. It was so cold we had to stop in and warm up.
Nice.
And Rich is like, he's all about the après. That's his jam.
Yeah.
But we were skiing hard, and he went for the Bloody Mary.
Yeah.
It's probably like, it was getting close to lunchtime, and I don't do the Bloody Mary. It's not my thing.
Nope.
I can't do it. The tomato stuff, I just can't do it. So
tomato
I had a beer
sauce.
because we're gonna go out and do a few more runs, and I didn't really want a beer. And after I had my first couple sips, I regretted my decision because it was a cold day. I think it was like 24 maybe degrees out. It was cold. Because again, I haven't been doing my après thing as much. If I had been on my game, I would have said Irish coffee.
Irish coffee.
Irish coffee
is Irish coffee.
Is the best before noon drink you can have when you're skiing.
Oh yeah.
But you know what? My brain wasn't there. I was up at 5 a.m. I drove, we drove 2 hours to go to Jack Frost. Like my brain, like the synapses weren't there. So that's like, I have a full translation system, because it's funny because I was with him out in Ellicottville a few years ago, and that was the formula. He ordered a Bloody Mary. I ordered an Irish coffee. Everything was cool. But you know what?
You got to have your go-to. You got to
have
your
list.
COVID
is melting my brain.
That's what it is.
I forgot.
It's long COVID affecting your ability to order a proper après drink.
Or maybe I'm just not drinking as much. One or the other, or both. I don't know.
Yeah.
Things are amiss at the Circle K. That's all I know. All I know. But anyway, my après. And again, I'm going to be a bit of a poser here. I'm going to pretend I'm drinking it. I'm not actually drinking it because it's Monday. And again, this week is going to be Bananarama. It's going to be good, but it's going to be Bananarama. Because it's actually going to snow here. Nor'easter. Ugh. Gee, I can't see. I'm getting all like worked up.
A nor'easter
is coming. I'm thinking about Ethereum because crypto is popping because banks are all collapsing and everyone's gonna be using Bitcoin now. The apocalypse that they had in Mr. Robot season 1 may be playing out. We don't know. Who knows?
There you go. You never know.
Anyway, nor'easter is hitting, and there actually is going to be snow in the Catskills. And if you did see when Rich and I were at Jack Frost, we did actually pray for Pow. We had a little prayer ceremony. He posted it on Instagram. I think I reposted it. We prayed for Pow. We drank the Pray for Pow beer from 10 Barrel Brewing. And snow has been coming pretty consistent in this area since then. So
you're welcome.
If you do believe, can I get an amen? So anyway, we're talking about Greek Peak in the main topic today. And I love drinking local. That's my big thing. Wherever I go, I know a guy, he's sort of family. This guy drinks Coors Light all the time, everywhere.
That's his deal. It's his jam.
He was in Bermuda. He found the last 2 cans of Coors Light on the island. Like, he's that guy. His cat, their cat is named Coors. Like, dedication to the game, silver bullet or nothing.
Wow. Yeah. All in.
More than all in. Like,
see, the good part of that is you don't have to worry. Which fruity beer am I going to have today? No, it's the same damn thing.
I see the beer menu, please. Like my ass does. You're not checking Untapped. Be like, this is a 3.94 and this is a 3.95. I don't know which one to order. None of that nonsense.
And then you get a sample. And then you bother the guy for like 5 samples to see which beer you actually want to have.
That's right. The silver bullet, the train's coming in. Like, it's simple. Like,
you
know what? I greatly respect that. He knows what he likes. He gets after it.
Growing up, my dad was a Budweiser guy. Not Bud Light, not Michelob, fucking Budweiser. That's it. Like, there was no question. You didn't have to even ask him. He's going to have Budweiser.
Walk in the store, you know what you're picking up. There's no mystery. You're not spending 27 minutes looking at the beer fridge, trying to figure things out, going in the beer cave.
Yeah, trying to check online, see, who's carrying my Budweiser? Like, I got to see, like, where is that?
Pretty much any place that sells liquor is going to have your Budweiser. It's just there, right?
Boom.
So I'm there.
For that.
I'm all about drinking local. What do you got local there? Finger Lakes, gorges of central New York. What do you got? So we're up there, and I think that's one of the things I always look forward to is what kind of local beers are we going to have? We got up there. I got something that I had before because, we spent a decent amount of time in the kind of more the eastern Hudson Valley area, and this is a little further towards the Finger Lakes, Cortland, where Greek Peak was. But at the hotel we stayed at, we were staying at the nice, what's it called? The Lake, I think called Lake something Lodge, right at Greek Peak. The Hope Lake Lodge, which I'll talk about more later too. They had a little gift shop, Starbucksy kind of breakfast sandwich thing in the hotel. And we checked in after the place closed, because one of those places that closes at like 1:00, it's open from like 7 to 1. So I couldn't go in there to get anything the night before, which would be great to have in the room. Didn't do that. But the next morning, 8:00, it was open, got breakfast sandwiches. It's like, hey, can I buy beer now? They're like, of course you can. I'm like, okay, great. So I picked up.
Why wouldn't you buy beer at 8 a.m?
We're in Central New York. What else?
It's America.
It's America. Right. So this beer was actually specifically made for Greek Peak, which I always think is super, super cool. I love when they make a beer just for the mountain. So this is from the good folks at Myers Creek Brewing Company, and it is called Earn Your Turns.
Nice, like the can.
Yeah, it's a New England style IPA. It's cool. So they have like the Greek Peak logo and the Tracks Pub and Grill. That's like the main spot there when you get to the bottom in the lodge, which I will, of course, talk about more later because we ate there too. Had to. Where else are you going to go? It's the only spot there. Meyer Creek, Earn Your Turns. I'm going to pretend I'm drinking it right now. I will say I have had a couple of them. I got a 4-pack. Really solid IPA. I mean, nice. It's not anything that's super unique, but it is definitely the hazy, creamy New England style IPA, which I was at Kane Brewing. They opened a new tasting room last weekend. I dropped my son off for a birthday party. I could have driven home, hung out with my family, but no, I went to the brewery instead. Posted a picture on Instagram. What kind of beer was it? New England style IPA. Brian, you're so predictable. I guess I'm like the Coors guy, but of New England style IPAs. I like what I like.
You still look at a tasting menu. That's the problem.
Dude, I got to tell you, again, when I was up with Rich, that 10-barrel brewing, I think it's a stout. It's not a porter. I think it was a stout. I got to tell you, man, I was like, wow, I forgot how good this style of beer is like when it's cold out. And I started going through like my fridge because I have all these bizarre, weird old beers that are just in there. Dude, I still have a couple of the Hill Farmsteads that we got.
Nice.
Like Twilight, I think, was one of the ones. I think it's an aged porter or something.
Do you know what year they are from?
Back when I had a life, back when I could go and just go drive 3 hours to get beer. Dude, that one time when you just drove from the ski house, like, I'm just driving up to Hill Farmstead to buy beer.
Did it.
Like, what just a boss. That was a Chad-ass move right there.
You guys all came in. You're like, hey, Mary, what'd you do today? I'm like, nothing other than get Hill Farmstead.
You're like, I don't know. Look at this table of all these growlers of beer that I got.
You guys are like, what? I'm like, yep, went to Hill Farmstead. Got up early. There was nothing to do.
Yeah. Working remote. Didn't you stop at like the pizza place and like work there for like 10 minutes?
I did.
The last place where there's
emails. Had to yell at some people on the phone. It was all good.
See? It's all work. But yeah, this was a really, really good beer. So
nice.
I love the can too. Guy
Myers
up
Creek.
the mountain.
MEIR, not MEYR.
That's right. Come on, have some respect. MEIERS Creek Brewing. Myers Creek.
Maya.
Good stuff. So if you're in the Greek Peak area, Cortland, New York, pick up a 4-pack. You will enjoy it if you like IPAs.
Nice.
Otherwise, don't. Go get some Coors.
Yeah, or a Bloody Mary, or a Caesar
with a scrimp and a piece of bacon on it.
Or a Caesar. The Caesar just has clamato juice, right? That's the difference.
Dude, all that stuff sounds disgusting. I can't even tell you. Tomatoes and clams, like I don't want that in my drink. Sorry.
Think of the idea of clam juice. Juice of like clam juice, like you grind up clams and that's what you're drinking. It's kind of gross when you think about it that way.
It's vile. Cup of clam chowder, I am in.
Yeah.
Drinking clam juice and tomatoes, like no thanks.
It's clam juice.
Just can't make it happen.
That's yummy.
Can't make it happen.
Let's go to ski news.
And big news. We've been building up the hype as everybody else has for the last couple of months. Michaela, she has finally done it. She has broken the record for the most Alpine Skiing World Cup victories. Congratulations to Michaela. She got number 87 this past Saturday.
That's awesome.
She surpassed Ingemar Stenmark's previous record for career wins that was set in 1989. Schifrin tied the record Friday after breaking it Saturday to become the winningest alpine skier in history. If she stays healthy and keeps racing and doesn't get pregnant, she could top 100 World Cup wins by the end of her career. She has 3 more races at next week's World Cup finals. The victory came 12 days to the day after Schifrin's first World Cup race in the Czech Republic at age 15.
Wow.
She won her first World Cup race at 17 at the same place in Sweden where she set the record on Saturday. How cool is that? Because cool. Ingemar Stenmark was from Sweden. Her first victory was in Sweden, and she breaks the record in Sweden. Pretty storybook story really there for her. Pretty sweet, yeah. So she's made the podium at the World Cup 136 times, more than half of the times she has raced.
Wow.
That is bananas.
That's impressive.
It's super impressive, yeah. And there's another story here. We don't actually have it as part of our story, but I saw that she got a new coach. Because last time we talked, she talked about she fired her coach. She's got a new coach. New org charts coming out for Team Michaela. Big fan of org charts. Congrats, Michaela. Awesome news. And we'll see how many she gets. Who knows? I don't know. I kind of hope she doesn't get any more victories and gets pregnant. Starts having super ski babies.
And then she's going to have to come back after the pregnancy, though. Then it'll be the comeback.
The comeback. Or, she could just get really, like we talked about last time. She could just go all Barilla all summer. Just partying out. And just.
That's right. I wonder if she could get pregnant and win another World Cup with a baby, with being pregnant, to set another record of the most wins by a pregnant person.
Ooh. But then, would there be an asterisk? Because then what if her child goes on to break her record? Would the victories while Michaela was pregnant count as part their victory too?
I think that would count as a tandem win.
Like doubles tennis?
It's like double slalom.
like the bobsled?
I got the pre-birth victory for her son or daughter.
You can't just give it to her. She's got to it's got to be an asterisk.
That'd be pretty amazing. Be like, well, technically that baby is a World Cup champ as well.
That's what I'm talking about, right? They've already got a couple W's.
Like 2 months old and you already got a W.
Impressive. Yeah, right. On a separate note, I watched that Facing Nolan documentary about Nolan Ryan on Netflix.
Yeah.
They said that based on the way they measure pitch speed now, he was throwing at 108 miles an hour back then in the 70s.
Damn.
Isn't that bananas?
Yeah, that is bananas.
Bananas things. And he never won a Cy Young. Crazy.
Huh.
What are you going to do? Total.
Pretty funny. The way they rate pitches now, he would have thrown 135.
Well, it's funny. He was throwing 190 pitches a game.
Yeah.
And now they pull him out at 90 pitches. And I don't even follow baseball anymore. It's just I don't know. It's just, I don't find it interesting anymore. But I like documentaries about old baseball. I don't know if that's about me, but I watched it and it was cool.
Yeah, it's all right.
Yeah.
Something to do, right?
When you're drinking, right? That's why it's a great sport. That's why soccer's so popular. That's my belief. Is that soccer's becoming
last week.
Did you?
Weekend before.
The only reason I think soccer has become popular in the U.S. is because you can drink and play on your phone while you're watching it. 90% of the time, you don't have to pay attention.
Exactly. You just wait for the replay after the goal. After you hear all the commotion, you're like, oh, I can see the replay.
It's like, oh, you're in that middle part? I'll just be on my phone or drinking.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Well, did you miss it? Okay, wait a minute. Here's the replay. Boom.
So you're oh, you're like, I'm going to look. Nothing? Okay. Back on my phone and drinking.
Back on the phone. Yeah. Now, I went to a spring training game, and it is people are just doing other stuff, having conversations. It's like nobody's paying attention to the game.
Remember the guy who kept score?
Yeah,
You the special notebook with the little, you got to draw the little things and
keep an actual score. Why would you do that? I'm sure there's a website that keeps it for you right now.
Because you've never had sex and that's still exciting for you. I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know.
It seems like a lot of work for a lot of nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
But that's just me. If you like it, God bless you. You do you. You do you.
That's right. If you pass the time a little bit happier, then it's all good.
As a wise woman once said, if it makes you happy, it can't be that bad.
Boom.
Sheryl Crow. She's so wise.
And on that note, we're going to next story is Killington receives key approval for new ski village. And I think this is probably like I'm jaded. This
rehash the story every like 3 years.
This is the story that keeps getting updated like every year for the last 20, right? Like,
yep.
So Sam Magazine, no idea what that is. Maybe it's a Killington local.
It's ski area management, good sir.
Yeah, whatever.
The
whatever
voice
is it
of the mountain resort industry.
They're shilling these lies now too. I want to see this happen. So March 8th, 2023, Killington Mountain Resort will move ahead with plans to build a new ski village, again, with 1,500 residences, including workforce housing, after Killington town voters approved phase 1 of the infrastructure and development project on Vermont's town meeting day, March 7th. The vote allows
every town in Vermont meets March 7th.
March 7th.
The day.
The vote allows for $47 million in infrastructure improvements to be funded through tax increment financing. So they're saying this is a huge win. The GM, Mike Solomano, came out, said they wanted a ski village for a long time, and now they're able to move forward with it. We'll see. I mean, I'm always jaded because they've been talking about this for ages. I think when we were going up there, people were talking like, oh yeah, any day, like next year, they're going to have the village. They're going to start the village.
Yep.
And then I think they even went so far as having like, the artist rendering of what a village could look like or would look like. And yeah.
What's so funny is you're saying that, and I'm just thinking last time I was there was outside, they had like another version of it. They're like, behold, the village coming soon. Maybe, sort of. We'll see.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen architectural renderings probably for about the last 8 years.
We've seen blueprints. We've seen everything. Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll see. They're saying there's a real estate development company, Great Gulf Corp, a Toronto-based real estate development company, is going to develop the Six Peaks Village, the project dubbed the Killington Forward Initiative, to both improve the resort guest experience and create assets for the community. And among those assets will be new municipal water lines and a redesigned and reconstructed Killington Road.
Yeah, and I think that was one of the big pieces of it was the municipal water.
Yeah.
Because they say that the Killington currently lacks municipal water, and businesses and residences often treat or bring in bottled water due to PFOAs in some well water. So new municipal water lines will bring clean water to the elementary school, businesses along Killington's primary access road, and to the future Six Peaks Village.
Wow. But yeah, and then they're talking about the road. I know the road they've been fighting back and forth on that thing too. Forever.
Yeah, with the road, the project includes the installation of a multi-use path, sidewalks, pull-off for buses, a roundabout at the East Mountain Road and Killington Road intersection, and the elimination of unsafe grades at the base of the road. The reconstruction of Killington Road will take place in 4 phases over a 6-year period. Construction of the first phase will commence this summer. So that's pretty cool. I mean, this seems to be another big step in that direction.
Well, the funniest thing is you'll be able to know if the construction started because you'll probably see a big, gigantic, inflatable rat along the road.
Oh my God! Yeah, if you're not familiar with that, is that like a New York City thing, like
New York City, New Jersey thing? Because
like
if you don't have
thing, right?
Union labor, they put the big rat up there, and they consider all the workers rats. It's just hilarious. The union rat.
Yeah. Now I wonder. I mean, this seems like. I mean, I know every idiot who's been following this has been like, "Oh, this is the time it's going to actually happen." But this seems like it could be legit. Now, my question is, what's the move? Say you want to get a property in Killington. You're kind of you wrote out the whole COVID lockdown. You didn't get anything. Do you go, hey, I'm going to buy something in the village? Or do you go, hey, I'm going to wait 6 months, 18 months and get something that's already existing. Do those values go down, or do those values of the other places stay where they are?
So way back when we were doing the share house, I remember I heard several people talking about this on several occasions, and there's a mixed bag. Some people are like, we don't like the whole new village because it's going to screw our rentals that we have and the value of our condo that we have that's not too far away. And other people are like, oh, it's going to be great for my place. So I guess it depends what piece of land and what you have.
Yeah, that's that's kind of the point I wanted to make too, is that perhaps you have something that, like the share house was in Pinnacle, and Pinnacle, that's still, what, they're not moving the mountain further away. So Pinnacle is still in an absolutely epic spot. And to the point of the people, obviously the first thought is, all these places are going to lose value because the new places are going in. How much are the new ones going to be? Are they going to build a bunch of cheap, affordable places in the new village? Pretty much not. Yes, they're going to have the place for the employees, which is great, which is absolutely critical.
Yeah.
But I guarantee you everything else is going to be completely unaffordable. A lot of people are going to buy them and rent them out. What if you're still looking for a affordable place in the Killington area? Those existing places are going to be the places you're going to look to. They're going to be probably more valuable because, again, people aren't going to want the crazy expensive new place. They're going to want something they could actually pay for and are affordable.
Right. And you're probably going to have 6 years before anything gets built there anyway. So decide between now and then.
So this is your move. So this is the move right now. You buy 1 Bitcoin. Whatever that Bitcoin is worth, you put that as a deposit on your Killington property. What will that Bitcoin be worth in 6 years?
Yeah.
Will it pay for the whole property?
Could be 200 grand.
This is not financial advice by any stretch of the imagination. But
if you're a banker giving financial advice, I don't think I would follow that either. So it's just as good.
I'm a podcaster in a basement, as we can see.
Just as valid as a banker at this point.
Dude, what is an expert anymore? What is an expert anymore?
Exactly.
There's no such thing.
Yeah.
No one's an expert. Everyone's an amateur. This is all just a dream.
But what is an expert? An expert is just somebody that everybody agrees has authority in that area. Doesn't mean that you have credentials.
But look at what's happening in colleges. You can't even argue with someone now because someone is so locked into an ideology that they've based their professional life, their identity on having that opinion. And if new evidence comes in, they will not change because that would make them look foolish over a certain period of time. That's happened a lot in anthropology, geology. People who are like, oh, well, Big Bang and Egypt, like I'm totally butchering this because I was listening to it on a Joe Rogan podcast, but there's all this new evidence coming out, and a lot of these people who have been the kind of the go-tos, the scholars on this for the last 50 years, they will not acknowledge new information coming in, like new evidence. They will not acknowledge it because it would ruin their reputation.
Exactly.
Isn't that the most like amateur, like little girl kind of belief exists? Like, you really don't care about the truth. All you care about is your paycheck and your ego.
Exactly. That their livelihood is built on that.
Yeah. That was a total tangent. I don't know how we got there, but we did.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, if you wanted to be a silly goose, this is what I'm telling you to do. Not financial advice. I'm an idiot. I'm in a basement in Jersey. Look at me.
Oh.
Buy 1 Bitcoin now. Say you're going to buy a place in Killington in that village. See how long it takes. Use that 1 Bitcoin. It'll pay for your whole goddamn condo.
They should have like a buy 1, get 1 Bitcoin day. Can you imagine that? That'd be great.
Back in like 2011, I think 10 or 11, when Bitcoin was first trying to become a thing, they had a website called the Bitcoin Faucet. And at that time, I think it was 500 Bitcoin were created every 10 minutes. Now it's down to 6.25. I think was it 500? Maybe it was a little bit. Maybe it was 250 at that point. But they had a faucet. You go to the website and they're like, hey, here's 250 Bitcoin. Enjoy. Play with it. Learn about it.
Boom. You can do with that now.
It's like, hey, here's what's that? Do the math. What is it? $5 million? Here's $5 million. Just hold on to it just be cool for 10 years. Like,
damn.
could you
Imagine
do
you
that?
buy it and just forgot about it, and all of a sudden, hey, look at that.
Well, there was a story of the guy who had all that Bitcoin on the hard drive. I think it was 20,000 Bitcoin or 10,000 Bitcoin, and he lost it. Like, he lost the hard drive. He finally found it, but he forgot the password. He's got 8 out of 10 attempts. He's missed it so far.
Damn.
That's the beauty of life, man. You just don't know. That's why
Craziness.
it's exciting every day. Go out there, go ski, have fun.
It's like when the internet was first coming out. I remember I signed up for like alerts from TravelZoo, and they gave me like some shares, and I forgot about it. And you know how you check do you have any hidden money that you never claimed?
Oh yeah.
So I got this letter, and I checked up on it, and then I wrote to it. They're like, "Yeah, you have some stock in TravelZoo." I'm like, "What the hell?" I didn't realize it was worth like $200. I was like, I got $200 for free that I forgot about even having, but it was actual stock that they put in my name, so they were holding on to it. And I was like, "Wow!" And TravelZoo is still around. I just assumed everything was going to go out of business by then,
Yeah, right.
So
that's better than a sharp stick in the eye, right?
Yeah, and I did nothing for it. I just signed up to get more junk mail. It's going to happen anyway, right?
That was worth it. So, talking about Killington. Killington is on the Icon Pass. Next couple stories are all about passes. So how about this? New perks and higher prices come with next season's Icon Pass. I just switched the order here, so you can grab the Epic one next. So we got some minor access changes. So this Epic or the Icon Pass, nothing much changed too much on it. They did raise the price. $110 more on the full pass and $60 for the base. New access for Taos ski area and some partnerships that might help you recoup some of the extra dough you're about to part with. So passes go on sale March 16th. We're recording this on the 13th. Next couple days, it's coming out. So Taos is moving off of the Icon Base and will only be available on the full Icon Pass and Icon Base Plus. Why would I just don't understand the naming. Like, why do you have a base and a base plus? Like, just call it
that's weird.
Different things, I'm just over plus. We got plus everything, You got outside plus, you got Apple plus, everything's a plus.
Yeah, it's a plus.
It's not a plus. Just the same thing. Give it a different name. All right, so the resort will no longer be requiring reservations next season. But then again, Deer Valley will start to require reservations. So the full pass is going up to $1,159 as a new purchaser. That's the full pass. It's $1,059 if you are a returning pass holder. And the base pass will be $829, $779 for renewal, which is up $60. Alterra is padding the increase with some new partnerships next season, including discounts from North Face and Smith. Also included in next year's pass is free Outside Plus. You get another plus. Lots of pluses here.
Lots of plus.
You can watch Warren Miller movies. That's pretty cool. Good news for pass holders who want to take advantage of what's sure to be an incredible spring season. Spring Access is back with skiing and riding and ski resorts starting on March 16th. 2 more on April 3rd and another 5 on April 10th. Pretty cool. So you're getting Big Bear, Copper, Eldora, June, Mammoth, Palisade Tahoe, Snowshoe, Snow Valley, Solitude, Steamboat, Stratton, Sugarbush, and Winter Park. You're getting Blue Mountain, Ontario, and Tremblant in Canada. And then limited access, no blackouts in the U.S. Alta Snowbird, A Basin, Aspen Snowmass, Mount Bachelor, Big Sky, Boyne Highlands, Boyne Mountain, Brighton, Crystal Mountain, Deer Valley, Jackson Hole, Pico, Killington, Loon, Schweitzer, Snow Basin, Snowbird. My Snowbird's here twice. Sugarloaf, Sun Valley, Sunday River, the Summit at Snoqualmie, Taos, and Wyndham. Canada, Cypress, Panorama, Revelstoke, Ski Big 3, and Red. Now, international. Now, if you're an international traveler, the Icon has some very tasty European resorts. Chamonix Mont Blanc, Dolomite Super Ski, Gran Valira in Andorra, boom, taking it over, maybe. Kitzbühel.
Dolomite Super Ski. That's Cortina, which is 24 Olympics are there, aren't there?
26.
26.
They had them last year. Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
So Niseko and Lotte Arai in Japan. If I butchered the pronunciation, sorry. Threadbow, Valley Nevado, Mount Bueller. It says Mr. Bueller. I don't know. That's like a joke, like a Ferris Bueller reference.
Bueller.
Zermatt.
Ooh.
And Coronet Peak. The Remarkables, Mount Hoot.
Wow.
So there's some serious heavyweight resorts there, international, on the Icon Pass. So if that's your jam, if that works for you, March 16th, get on there and make it happen.
Boom.
And now, what's going on in Epic Land there, Mario?
So Epic Passes, they just went on sale, and there's no spring skiing for 23 to end out this season buying early, which I guess people were asking for and speculating. But anyway, they did go on sale. They said really not much has changed except for the fact that it went up about 8%, and there's new mobile pass technology. So other than that, nothing really else has changed. I mean, same resorts. And then you just have to look at the different passes for, blackouts versus non-blackouts. And then the limit of number of times you can go, number of days at each resort. So depending on the pass you get, they have different things. They even have the local pass, the Epic Local. So
yeah, the only kind of big things there was that Telluride, which offers 7 days on the full pass, will require reservations for next season. Telluride not available on the Epic Local. Also, Decentis, a Swiss resort connected to Andermatt, is now included in the Epic Pass. So Andermatt.
DeSantis.
They're skiing. He's bringing skiing to Florida.
Ronnie D has a resort. All right.
Ronnie D.
And
since we're talking passes, we got one more final pass story to talk about. And this is probably the biggest one of them. Big changes coming to the Indy Pass, the alternative to the Epic and the Icon. So the Indy Pass was the independent ski area's answer to the Epic and Icon mega passes. But current pass holders are unlikely to notice much of a shakeup. So it was announced last week that the Indy Pass was being sold, which is kind of interesting.
Boom. That's a big deal.
Yeah. It was being sold to Entebini Systems, which is a ski area software company founded by a lover of independent ski areas who just happened to have the bandwidth to develop such a system in 2019. So Entebini Systems owner Eric Morganson is 36 years old with a deep background in skiing that includes a stint working as an instructor for Vail Resorts. An experience, he said, motivated him to focus on independent skiing operations.
Wow.
He started Entebini Systems in 2016, met Indy Pass founder Doug Fish in 2019 on a cold call, and both had the realization that some serious tech was needed to help Indy Pass push back against the mega passes. Morganson said Entebini, which is based in Grand County, happened to be in the right place in 2019 to take on the Indy Pass project, which he described as being a non-commercial project.
Wow.
We had huge passion for helping independent ski areas, and we were already down the road on building different systems that would align from a technical and personal purpose standpoint. As proof of passion for independent ski areas, Morganson points to a 2004 letter to the editorial published in the Buffalo News, which he penned at age 16 following the close of Ski Tamarack in Western New York. Words, quote, "Words cannot do justice to the feelings of so many in Western New York after the closing of Ski Tamarack," Morganson wrote. "I grew up at Tamarack, taking my first turns at age of 3. Anyone who has been there knows that it was not the skiing that made it special. It was the people, the ski patrol that had been there for 3 generations, the ski school that taught so many in Western New York how to make those first tough turns, and most of all, the family that ran it.
Nice.
So Mr. Doug Fish announced that he sold the company to Indy Systems. So he said so this is from again from Morganson. He said it's been difficult to keep skiing affordable for families. We really worked hard to keep the base pass under 300 and the Indy Plus under 400, and Doug Fish deserves a lot of credit for being part of that push. They made a decision too to limit total passes. So in a personal letter to all pass holders, Morganson furthered the point by saying the Indy Ski Pass has done a remarkable job promoting independent, authentic snow sports experience, but we are also reasonable for preserving those experiences. We will never put promotion ahead of preservation. Because of that, the Indy Pass will limit pass sales for the coming season, offering our current pass holders an opportunity to renew first. Several other small changes will take place as well. A 3% service fee assessed in the final moments of purchase have been eliminated. A $10 physical RFID pass, something the Indy Pass had managed to avoid, will now be offered as a way to speed up the redemption process. An old-fashioned version of pass insurance, once ski areas have long offered to pre-purchasers who show up to the ticket window on crutches, will now come with the Indy Pass. We will not be trying to upgrade or upsell anyone into injury pass insurance, he wrote. If you have an accident that keeps you from being on snow, just let us know and we'll do the right thing by supporting you with a refund. 22-23 Indy Pass holders received the first crack at renewal last week. A quickly growing waiting list has been formed for all newcomers. Pass sales will open to the waiting list on March 24th. And a payment plan is being offered. Another touch Morganson and Indy Systems is proud to provide. It comes out to less than $35 per month when spread over 8 payments.
Nice.
Whew, so that's big news. So if you're an existing Indy Pass holder, you probably need to start buying up before March 24th, because that's when all the Mongols at the gate are going to be let in, and you may lose your chance to get one because they are limiting the numbers.
Wow.
One other comment that Doug said in his email is right now they're at 139 resorts. He said we could be up to 160 by the time next season starts out.
Wow.
So this is big news. And Mario, you and I, we really got to do some fun Indy Pass skiing this year. So we understand how great this pass is, what sort of opportunities it presents, and what a great value it is. You go 4 or 5 days, you've pretty much paid for your pass. So
yeah,
it's cool to see what they're doing. It was almost too good to be true for a while. And it's not that it's changing dramatically in that regard, but it is going to be a little harder to get because of that. And I think that's probably a good move for a lot of places. I know Magic Mountain up in Vermont, they were saying that they limited the number of Indy Pass sales on weekends. And they had some really good snow the last couple of weekends, and they were maxed out. I think it was maybe 100 or 150. Because they don't want to create a worse ski experience for their season pass holders. And that is an extremely smart and noble way to handle it. So, I mean, what more could you ask for as an Indy Pass holder? I mean, it's not like it's a great deal, but it's not like you don't want to screw everybody over. That's kind of the big thing that they, Doug and Indy Systems is trying to keep in play, is that they don't want the resorts to feel like it's a negative thing to have the Indy Pass. They want it to be mutually beneficial, and I think what they're doing is kind of smart.
Yeah, it's a good deal. We'll see what they come up with.
Indeed. All right, so that wraps up the ski news, and now we are on to our main topic. And as I have said several times already, the main topic is my family's recent trip to Greek Peak, New York.
Oh.
Now, we did this the week after Mario and I were in New Hampshire. So that was the second week in February. Conveniently, and I don't really know why, but I think it's kind of awesome. The town I live in, my son's school, they do their President's Week vacation the week before everybody else does. And it is our belief that they do that for ski purposes. So that people can go out and they can go get their, go skiing when it's not as crowded, which is weird because then the kids have school on President's Day. But whatever, it's a huge benefit. So
it works
we took
out.
advantage of it.
Do they know the presidents even? Who cares, right?
They'll figure them out eventually, right?
Figure it out.
So it worked out really great for us. The problem was the weather.
Oh.
If you remember, you probably don't, but because it's been so good lately, we're not even talking about the old, back in February. Because you think like mid-February, Northeast, it's going to be cold from Virginia all the way up to Maine, and wherever you go is going to be great.
Yeah.
And as I've talked about in the podcast before, we did a season pass at Bear Creek out in Macungie, Pennsylvania.
Macungie.
They have been doing God's work keeping snow on the trails out there because it's been rough. Like they just have been just below the snow line. And our plan was to actually go there for a couple days. We had our passes. We're going to stay at the hotel there, but it was just too warm. Like it was bad.
Damn.
So I threw something together last minute. I was like, okay, where can we go that's within a reasonable driving distance? It had to be under 4 hours because 2 little kids cannot deal with a longer drive than that.
Oh, yeah.
Under 4 hours and preferably on the Indy Pass. So I looked, what were my options? I was Montage Mountain in Pennsylvania. I'm like, that's just, the conditions aren't that different from where it is at Bear Creek. Shawnee, I already did a day. Again, I'm still not that far up in Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
Vermont, Magic, it's just too far for this trip. So I saw good old Greek Peak. And I'm like, I haven't been out that way in quite a while. Let's just make it happen. So I booked this, I think, on Friday, and we were going up there Sunday through Tuesday. So this was a quick booking.
So looking at the location, so if anybody knows, like all the SUNY schools are right around there. So there's a SUNY Cortland, which that is about, an hour south of Syracuse?
Yeah, I'd say about that.
It's not far from Ithaca and Watkins Glen. Watkins Glen, do they still have a NASCAR race there?
Last time I checked, they did.
Binghamton's not too far, so it's kind of like in the middle of all those schools and not too far from Cooperstown.
Not far from Cooperstown. Yeah, so it was cool. So for us, it was a shade under 4 hours to drive, and we actually drove up on Super Bowl Sunday because if you have not skied on Super Bowl Sunday or the day after, friends, you are missing out because people aren't skiing for the most part. And that was always one of the best parts about skiing up in Vermont when the Patriots were really good, because people would be home getting ready for the Pats game. They
were out there skiing with their Brady jersey.
Out there skiing with their Brady jersey until like noon, and then they're gone. And then the next day, they're all wicked hammered and hungover, so they're not going skiing.
Wicked hammered on Fireball. I can't go skiing.
Yeah, so it was great. So that was always the move. I did that for most of the 2010s because the Patriots were in the Super Bowl most of the 2010s in some way, shape, or form.
Wow.
But we went up to Greek Peak. We made the drive. And again, because I booked it the last minute, we couldn't stay at the nice hotel both nights. So we stayed in Cortland the first night. And so as someone who travels with children, this is what our logic was. My daughter still naps. So we left as she started her nap around noon. We drove. My son watched 2 movies. The iPad, 2 movies, perfect. My daughter she woke up halfway through, watched the second one. So 4 hours was doable in that regard. So we got there around like 4 or 5 o'clock to the hotel, and we stayed in Cortland. We found a Fairfield Inn. The most important thing at the hotel, indoor pool.
Wow.
Now
Nice.
they're locked in a car for 4 hours. You got to get some of that energy out somehow
Go
because
to
they're
the
going to
pool.
be antsy, jonesing, sitting around. So we went to the pool for like half an hour, 40 minutes, let them swim around, tire themselves out. Went into Cortland, downtown Cortland, which, hey, if you haven't been there, it's a very typical, like, not new, I guess, Northeast college town.
Nice.
And it has the main drag. I had no idea what to expect, to be honest, because I'd never been up there. And yeah, you know, very typical Northeast college town. And again, it was Super Bowl Sunday, so you saw a lot of kids kind of going to house parties, carrying their kegs, not really kegs, you know, 24 packs of White Claw, Bud Light, whatever. But we found a restaurant. I just was looking on Yelp, trying to figure out like where are we gonna go eat. Like there was like an Applebee's. Like I didn't want to do that. I wanted something at least a little
more
unique.
local.
A little unique. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we found a place called Harry Tony's.
All right.
Which it was cool. It was cool but weird. It was a Irish pub. No, like an English style pub.
Huh.
It closed at 8 o'clock on a Sunday. Now, it may have been open a little bit longer for the Super Bowl. I cannot confirm or deny that because we were already out of there at that point. But the place, like, it had, like, it was recommended because it had really good food. And it was just surprising, I guess. Maybe I didn't know, again, what to expect.
Harry Tony's, huh?
Harry Tony's.
Wow.
And it's funny because they had a dish on there, and I showed it to my wife before we went there. It was Crazy Caruso's pizza.
All right.
And it's funny because my wife's maiden name is Caruso, so she of course got a huge kick out of that. And we ended up just, we told that to the waitress. And again, it's one of those places like when you talk to the people, like they're super friendly, like really cool. So my wife tells that to the waitress. The waitress tells the owner. The owner comes over, starts talking to us for like 15 minutes. And it turns out like, he grew up in the Bronx. And his last name is Caruso. He's Anthony Caruso. Thus, his father is Anthony Caruso too. And his father's crazy. So he's Crazy Tony.
Nice.
So he's the Crazy Tony of, or Crazy Caruso at Harry Tony's. So we end up just talking. And turns out this guy, the owner, Anthony, he is from the Bronx, like Andrea, my wife's parents, from the Bronx. But he went to school out in Cortland. And, I think he said he stayed there since the 76 or 77 when he graduated. And
wow,
ended up opening this restaurant, which is pretty cool. And again, the food was really, really good. And I mean, it was not really pub fare. They obviously had that kind of stuff, but then they had some kind of like funky, really good main dishes. So I got I'm looking it up right now so I get it right. Was it the pad thai? No, it wasn't the pad thai. It was similar. Dun, dun, dun. It was like a short rib noodle thing. And I gotta find it here.
A short rib noodle thing.
It was like a short rib noodle bowl.
No, that sounds good.
Dude, it was amazing. Like, it was really, really good.
Oh.
Old Crazy Caruso's Pizza. Yeah, that's on the menu there. I don't know. It's some kind of...
So food was good. The kids enjoyed the food? Was it like kid
friendly?
friendly?
I mean, the kids, they had, stuff for kids. They had... What did they have? Like, I think just quesadillas, something crazy. They shared some stuff.
Cool.
And by then, again, we're all kind of starving, obviously, because it was, that kind of thing. Good beers on draft. Super Bowl was on. We kind of like were half paying attention to it.
Nice.
Back to the hotel, did our thing. And I will tell you, the Fairfield Inn in Cortland's breakfast was not as good as the Fairfield Inn in Plymouth, New Hampshire. In case you're a Fairfield Inn connoisseur and you're comparing, they did not have the little waffles.
The B rating versus an A rating. See, that's the difference.
The one in Plymouth, man, it took care of all of my needs.
Yeah.
Those little waffles, the blueberry, like it was.
They had fruit. They had
it all.
Eggs. Everything. We checked all the boxes.
Checked them all. Yeah. So, but anyway, we just went there. It was weird because we watched because we haven't really done like a family trip at a hotel.
Huh.
So we just don't do it. Like we don't really do that yet because my daughter being like it's a real big pain. So we got back to the hotel, got the kids all bathed up and showered and in bed, and pretty much had the halftime show on for the Super Bowl, read the kids a book, turned off the TV, and went to bed. We all just went to bed at halftime of the Super Bowl.
That's right. You don't even know who won.
I saw the Eagles were winning. I didn't find out till lunch the next day that the Chiefs won. Because in my head, I was like, God damn it, the Eagles won. I'm like, how does my life change? What is the difference? Who cares? It doesn't really matter. And I found out the Chiefs won. I'm like, all right, the Chiefs won. Because
my life is better suddenly.
My life is better, exactly. So then drove up to from Cortland. I mean, it was maybe a 15-minute drive to the resort from there. It was really not far at all, which was great. Little kind of like windy road. We got out there. And it's it's not a huge mountain. I think it's got about 952 vertical, 2,000 feet at the top, 1,100 at base elevation. So we went there and, we skied for the day. Again, trouble was it was probably like 40 some degrees that day. It was not cold.
Yeah, but at least it's good for the kids, right? They're not freezing.
That's kind of the thing. What made it nice is it wasn't that cold, so the kids were able to go out there. My daughter, she's 2, so they had a great little bunny hill all the way to kind of skiers right, lookers left at the bottom. We lapped that maybe 4 or 5 times, and my wife and I switched. It's called the Alpha. I think the Alpha was the name of the trail. Again, not everything was open because I think it was maybe half open at the time because of the lack of snow. And I'm looking on here, and there's some like really cool looking glade runs that were just not open because of the lack of snow.
Oh, really?
We kind of had to stay on the main runs, which if you can see the trail map of the place, it's kind of that similar V shape, like a Waterville Valley, where everything kind of filters into the same area. But they do have a whole kind of offshoot glade on the skiers' right section, which looked really cool. I mean, it's funny because you drive down the road when you're leaving the place and you see a chairlift. You're like, whoa, what's that over here? You're like, oh, that's that other trail that's still part of the mountain, but it's like way off to the side. And the main section, which doesn't include that off to the side part, is mostly open for night skiing too, except for the glades, which is pretty cool. So they do a lot of night skiing there. They do a lot of youth programs, a lot of schools. There was the Tuesday we were there were tons of kids there doing lessons, and must have been some kind of class school program because they're probably all around 10, 11, 12 years old. A lot of kids were out there. But we did, everything that was open, and we mostly hung on that the lift, kind of far lookers right, skiers left. The Iliad is over there on the Odyssey.
Oh, that one, the number 1 lift.
The number 1 lift, yeah. We'd go over and do the blue. I guess it's Elysian Fields, and there's a green Corellius Way. We did that a lot. I mean,
were the blacks open or the double blacks at all?
The singles were. The Iliad and Odyssey were. And my son wanted to go on the black. And my wife was there with him. So I'd taken him around a couple runs. I was skiing with my daughter. He wanted to ski with mom. So they went up there. And first we did the greens a bunch, the Corellius Way. And he decided he's wanted to do a black. And it's pretty steep there. But he ran into some problems. And he was kind of like getting upset. And someone actually like said from the chairlift down to my wife, she's like, oh, maybe you should take him on something a little less steep. And it's like, why don't you mind your own goddamn business, Grandpa?
Watch your DD chair and shut the hell up. How about that, old man, before I break your hip?
That's right. But he got down. He was able to do it, and he wanted to do it again. So that was cool. He's been doing a couple blacks here on his own. I mean, he's 5, so it's great seeing him kind of push himself a little bit. You know, it depends his mood too. You know, kids are so just, you know, Jekyll and Hyde that you never know what kind of kid you're going to get on what day. But we got out there and, you know, we had fun. It was a great family mountain. I found a little bit of history on Greek Peak too, which I thought was pretty cool. It's been open since 1958 and was founded by members of the Cortland Ski Club.
Huh. Right.
New York's Governor William Averill Harriman, who developed Idaho's famous Sun Valley Resort and ski mountain, conducted the opening day ceremonies for the resort.
Wow.
And they had some T-bars that were constructed.
Like Harriman State Park is a huge park out there.
That's the guy, yeah.
Wow.
And then one thing they talk about too, and it's funny because the trails are all Greek names, you know?
Yeah.
So you have like cool. Zeus and Hercules and Atlas and Aesop's Glade. Like there's it's pretty cool. Like
the Trojan.
What's that?
Hey-o. Trojan.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm sure there's been some stuff going on there.
I'm sure stuff was going down on Trojan Man.
Man.
Yeah. So it's cool. And I get, again, I wish we could have skied more of it. I wish it was open, but you know, again, we played the hand we were dealt. And another reason why we chose this place was that they have a relatively new, and within the last 10 or 15 years, they built the Hope Lake Lodge, which is right across the street from the resort. It's a fractional ownership condo and hotel. And inside there, they have an indoor water park.
Oh.
So Monday, we drove from Cortland. We skied maybe, 3-4 hours. Also, too, they have that pub, the Tracks Pub and Grill that's right there. They have a huge deck outside.
Oh, nice.
And the deck was beautiful. It's right at the bottom. You can look up the mountain and watch people skiing. Really, really great spot for lunch or for an après drink. So we were kind of hanging out there for a bit after lunch. Back to the hotel. Perfectly timed. The water park opened at 4:00.
Oh,
now, this was the Monday before President's Weekend. So the place was empty. So
nice.
After going back, kind of getting, because we just had checked in.
You're getting fresh water at that point. You're not just getting pure urine. It's pretty good.
There's some urine, but just a little bit at that point. But yeah, so water park. So you're skiing all day. We checked in, went to the water park. It was perfect timing. It was open from 4 to 8. So we went to the water park and we thought it'd be an hour. We were there for I think it was 2.5 hours. It was so much fun. They had the big wave pool, which is great. They have one of those. They have an outdoor heated pool, and you kind of go in on the inside and you kind of swim under the thing and you're outside. So we did that. They had water slides. I think maybe 5 of them. I think 5. Because my son is still, he's, was he 4 feet tall? No, he's not even that. Whatever he is. He definitely needed me to go on with him they had the double tube rides. And it was cool because when we got there at 4:00, it's still light out. And it's one of those things where it kind of goes outside and then kind of comes back around inside and eventually come out in the pool inside. And we did it. I mean, we would just go up and down. There was no line at all. So we just keep doing that. And then we did some other stuff and went back when it was dark. And you were cruising, we were flying. And it wasn't bad when it was light out, but when it was dark, it was actually a little scary because you're I don't know where we're going.
Can't see.
You're just holding on for dear life.
Wow.
But yeah, it was a lot of fun. They had a little thing for little kids, little slides. So Leah could go on the little slides. She had an amazing time. We were in the wave pool for just doing that forever. They had basketball hoops in the water too, so you could play that. It was great.
Cool.
It was so much fun. And now I get why so many places have those indoor water parks at the ski resorts, because it's just such a great thing. If, say it's a crappy day, it's raining, or it's not ski season, that's always going to be fun. So if you can do it on a Monday that is not a holiday, oh my God. There was probably 28 people there.
Wow.
Tops.
That's pretty awesome.
It was great. So that was a lot of fun. We went and ate at the restaurant downstairs. There isn't a ton of dining options. That's the one thing that's a little bit tricky there. Because like I said, you're about 15 minutes from Cortland. There's that Tracks, which is actually at the mountain. And then across the street where the hotel is, they have this steakhouse, which I guess is relatively new. And we ate there. And now the downside of having such a long, fun day is you're skiing, you're going to the water park. We're all showered up. We go to get dinner. We're used to where we live, fast service. Monday night up in, what's the name of the town?
Cortland.
It's kind of Cortland, but I think it's like a different name. Maybe it is considered Cortland. They were not having the fastest service. So it was like 15 minutes before our waitress came over, and we are dying. We are starving.
Wow.
These kids are getting pissed off. My son's like falling asleep on the
I was gonna say you probably were all falling asleep.
Yeah. So that was the only kind of negative downside. The food was good. It wasn't amazing. It was good. And then the next day we just did the same thing again.
Nice.
We like I said, we got breakfast. They don't have a ton of stuff on a Monday, or that was a Tuesday at that point, open, but they have the little Starbucksy breakfast sandwich place to buy beer. We got our breakfast. We skied for as long as we could, maybe till like 1 o'clock. Went to that Tracks pub and grill, which again, that's a cool spot too for getting lunch or for doing après.
Nice.
Got a pretty good beer. I forget what I got. I think it was Maine lunch I had there, which was good. Had an elk burger, which was delicious. So I got some cool menu options there, a little bit different, the standard stuff, but with a little twist. And then we made the drive back home, and it took us, about 4 hours, which, you kind of know what you're in for at that point. 2 movies for my son. My daughter slept halfway and watched 1 movie, and we were back home. So again, a fun spot. Having the water park is big. That's a really nice feature. I wish we could have explored more of the mountain if it was open, if there was more snow. I know they're getting hit with this nor'easter that's hitting, and they have been getting snow the last couple of weeks, which is great. So, because people were kind of like, it was mid-February, but people were kind of like, I don't know how long we can keep what we have usable snow-wise, but luckily Miracle March is playing out as we hoped, and I'm sure they're going to have a great end of the season there. So it's a cool spot, and if you have an Indy Pass and you're in that area or within 4 hours, definitely worth taking a trip. You can
now size-wise, like if everything's open, what do you compare the size of that place maybe to?
I mean, it's probably like similar to the Poconos, maybe like a Camelback. Definitely way different layout. Maybe like a Blue Mountain-ish.
All right.
I would say.
Worth the trip, train-wise?
If you got a family and you're within 4 hours, I think it's definitely worth a trip.
Oh, nice.
And what's cool too is I can see this being fun in the summer because again, you have the water park if you want to do that. They have like the adventure center, and they have a lot of other outdoor stuff they do there. They host like weddings at that place, which I think would be a pretty nice spot to get married at. They have they're by the Finger Lakes too. So if you really wanted to kind of bounce around and do some wine tasting, beer tasting, go on the lakes, go to Watkins Glen, like there's a lot of other stuff you can do there.
Very cool.
So yeah, it was a cool spot.
People were nice.
Went up there. The kids still talk about it. They love the water park. They want to go back. So that's a good thing. That's going to be like my kind of one of my new like add-ons to where I'm looking to go is to like what's the water park situation, because that really is a game changer for kids.
Oh yeah, if you have kids, that's huge. Yeah,
Jay Peak.
Jay does it like
Jay Peak.
It's a big deal. You got kids, you can entertain them if they don't. You could even do every other day skiing if you wanted to.
Do it for a week. Yeah, 100%.
Kids are playing the water park and the pool all day, just about. Yeah,
and they had tubing there too, if that was your thing.
Nice.
I don't know if they had cross-country trails. I thought I read that there was something. Oh, they do, yeah. Behind it, like on the other side where the hotel was, they have Nordic trails back there around the lake, which is pretty cool. So that's an option too.
That's pretty cool.
So you got a lot of stuff you can do. it's an interesting like where it's located too, because again you're kind of Cortland there, which is kind of a town, like small city, I guess you would call it, and there really isn't much else around. Like it's pretty isolated, but people were all really friendly, really nice, cool to talk to, and they have a good community there. And it's just funny too, like the whole like Greek thing, because there's a condo complex across the street, and again the same thing with the names. Everything is like all Greek and Odyssey and Iliad and the Greek god names. So it's
That's
cool
funny.
what they did there. But the Hope Lake Lodge, like that hotel is beautiful, really nice. And if you can stay there, I definitely recommend that, because it makes it so convenient, because you're right across the street. You can drive over or you can take the shuttle.
Very cool. Very cool.
Yeah,
And you booked last minute, right? You said just about.
absolute as last minute as possible. Booked it on a Friday to go up there Sunday.
Nice.
Yeah.
See, that's good to know too. Like, at least it's someplace you could say, look, we got some time opened up. Let's go.
Yeah, and again, it was a Monday, Tuesday, so you're not really competing too much at that point, which is great too.
Yeah, no, that's a good deal.
And like we always recommend, if you can ski midweek, do it. It'll make your life so much easier. It'll be so much more fun.
All right, so we got the lodging, we got the food. That's
And what do you need? And again,
Yeah.
when you do have good snow there, they got some really fun-looking glade runs.
Yeah, that one run, Nemesis, looks pretty cool. That looks like it's all glades.
Yeah,
And Spartan.
yeah, they got a couple of fun ones up there. So next time we'll go, there'll be more snow, I believe. So we'll check those out. But it was a great time. Again, if you're within 4 hours, definitely recommend it.
Very cool. Awesome.
Cool. If you got any other advice, tips, comments, hit us up, skibumpodcast@gmail.com. And that's going to wrap up the podcast for the week. Thank you so much for checking us out. We are at skibumpodcast.com. Go to your favorite social media app, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Untapped. We are at Ski Bum Podcast. If you want to support the show, via Patreon, patreon.com/Ski Bum Podcast. We got the shop, skibumpodcast.com/shop. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you, Terracia. Go there, terracia.com, Terracia Bum, 50% off. Thank you, everyone, for listening. We do appreciate it. And we'll talk to you guys next week.
Stay high, stay fluid.
See ya.